Chris Buchholz, Editor-in-Chief of Forecasting Clouds, and welcome to CRM Experts in Their Own Words. With Jesus Hoyos. He's the Managing Partner at Solvis Consulting and also JesusHoyos.com.
Yeah,
he is Jesus Hoyos. It makes perfect sense. Thanks for taking time with us, Jesus. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to social CRM, obviously you have a huge presence on Twitter. You seem to do it very, very, very well. I'm thinking any consultant who talks about this, you can't get by without doing what you do and be able to spread that message.
Yeah, and listen, and it's happening, and that's why I asked the question today. Who's doing business and making money? In the last 9 months in Mexico, I can tell you, 75–90% of the leads that we get from my consulting company comes from Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And it has to do about engaging in the conversation. You're not actively selling, but you gotta have that conversation. And it's happening, and it's a global effect. I get, tweets from Mexico, tweets from Spain, Argentina, from the States. What are you doing? You start meeting people. You get to know by the handler, mm-hmm. know by the real name, and you meet them, and you go into transaction, and all because of a tweet. I can give you one example: social media cloud in Mexico City. I did a conference. I was social CRM probably like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then somebody tweeted, Jesus, can we meet? Sure. And then can I go? So we started tweeting to each other. And suddenly we met with Starbucks. We went to another Starbucks in Mexico. Then we're starting meeting. Now it's 400 people in the organization. And we look around. We all met through Facebook or Twitter. Can we do that over the phone? I don't think so.
Yeah.
So we're always social. In Latin America, we're always social. For a barbecue, for a beer, we always meet. To watch a soccer game or a football game, we always meet and we complain. We like each other, with the handshake and the hug. That happens now. That is moving to Twitter and Facebook, and it's happening. It's real, So it's global. I mean, it's not for a particular market. As long as you go after that particular niche, it's truly happening. So at the personal level, in the small businesses, enterprises, it's happening. So we just need more people to start doing it and pay attention to that.
Right. Hey, we're at the Social CRM for Business seminar, and clearly you're one of the leading voices of social CRM in Latin America. Can you tell us a little bit about how that environment looks, contrasted against what's going on in North America? Is there much of a difference between what's going on in Latin America versus what's going on in the northern part of the hemisphere? Yeah,
actually, what I think is happening, talking to some local vendors and the major vendors of CRM and some marketing agencies, is that people are rushing to be on Facebook, on Twitter, and then they are going to start engaging customers in those channels, thinking that they can control the conversations, and they take an angle of PR and maybe some marketing. But what they're realizing now is that holy cow! Now I have all these leads and customers complaining. I want to buy that car, or I want to buy that widget, and they're realizing that if I have all this in Excel, now I have a more silos of data out there, and I see a trend of many agencies looking for CRM solutions, and sell the complete end-to-end social media. They still don't call it social CRM, but the social media to engage those customers and pass that information back to the customer. In this case, will be the brand.
Right.
And because everything if when in doubt, you can always ask Google. I will say that it probably, Latin America is probably lagging in terms of using a Facebook or Twitter or communities, probably 6 months. But I think they're more lagging in terms of a year or so because of the technology within the companies. The bandwidth, T1 access. A lot of companies, like in Mexico, internet is very expensive. Sending a text is very expensive too. It's 25 cents. You don't have these unlimited text plans, for example, in Latin America. And I think the governments in Latin America need to start doing something about that, because in terms of being competitive, they're going to be lagging. And then you have what I believe would be the really big gap is the culture of the CEOs and the VPs. They have what I call the 9-to-5 syndrome. What that means is that all they do is work. They don't care about what happens outside. If it happens, it happens. But that's what they do. 9 to 5, and they don't care about YouTube or Twitter, Facebook. If they make money or not, they don't care. And I think we need more early adopters in Latin America. And I've seen this with multinational companies. From the States in Latin America, I gotta wait and see to see what happens in the States or in Europe. And it's going to take time. It's going to take another year or so by the time they get there.
Hey, Jesus, are there examples of situations where you've got a company perhaps based in North America that has kind of jumped on the CRM bandwagon in a major way, that has offices in South America or Central America, that where conflict sort of develops between the northern part of the country and the rest of the company?
All the time. I've seen it with big telcos and banking, and the auto industry. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that they go and buy any CRM and say these are the best practices and we want to apply it worldwide. When you bring that down to Mexico, Colombia, or Argentina, those best practices are not really best practices. You have invoicing issues, collection issues, the way you sell, the way you keep track of opportunities. All that, doesn't fit really well into in Mexican market or Colombian market. And what I think here is that a lot of the companies say, let me go for software as a service, a CRM package, open source or any commercial product, and they try to implement the 10, 20 users to see how it goes, mm-hmm. and then they try to sell the project, for the region. The other thing is that even though you buy your software in the States, to bring that down, you have some legal implications. Where are you going to, if you're using software as a service, it's multi-tenancy or single tenancy, where the data is going to reside. It's one thing to have CRM data, then to have financial data coming in. So some countries have those legal issues, and when you look into the global requirements, people forget about that. And they forget also about how to implement that. Oh, I have already here the formula how it works, to implement, I don't know, any package, in the state. But again, when you bring that down to the countries, it's totally different. It changes. You gotta sort of, like the saying, so you gotta, think globally, act locally. I think you need to you need to act locally before you think globally. And for CRM, so you can take care of those needs in the countries.
Well, Jesus, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. We really appreciate it. This has been Jesus Hoyos on forecasting clouds and the CRM experts in their own words. Thanks for tuning in.